So I haven't done a watch list video in a couple of years actually. So I have several DVDs into my watch pile. The first one is called Relic Killer in Reverse. It's a British series about trying to find out about a case, and you flash back into time and back and forth. I actually completely forgot about it. It's been a year or two since I watched it. I'm usually a fan of British productions. Like, they do really good true crime movies and series and stuff like that. I bought a couple on iTunes because otherwise, unless you have BritBox or the iPlayer across the pond, you probably aren't going to be able to watch it in the US. Um, True Detective, Season 1. Again, it's been a couple years since I watched it. Season 1 has Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. Uh, Basically like a serial thriller. The new series is coming out. I think it's called Night Country. It stars Jodie Foster, who of course was in The Silence of the Lambs. I also have True Detective Season 4, I think. I've liked all of the seasons so far. I only have Season 1 and Season 4 in my collection. There was another season with Rachel McAdams and Vince Vaughn, and I've just really enjoyed them so far. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Season 4, so like 2008. I used to watch it religiously on Comedy Central when they would do like mini marathons of episodes. I haven't watched it in several years, but I generally like it. I'm not sure if they're going to wrap it up and not do any more seasons. I should probably check that out. I think it's a really funny show. Timber Falls, it's kind of like, it's like a backwoods hick type movie, kind of similar to Wrong Turn. It's from 2008. It feels like it's not as well known as like the Wrong Turn series or other backwoods slashers. Yeah, but it's a pretty good one. The Flatliners reboot, kind of a remake, kind of not. Basically more of a sequel. I think Kiefer Sutherland has like a small cameo as like a bridge to the original Flatliners to the new one. I did a review on this several years ago. It's similar to the first one. It's about med students finding a way to come back from the dead, and they tell their experiences to one another, and then their experiences start manifesting into the real world in their real lives. So it's sort of a horror tinged take on it. I've actually never watched the first one, so can't really comment on how much better or worse this version of Flatliners is, but I liked it for taking on sort of a horror plot line. Alone with Her, I don't know if I've reviewed this. It's a really good one. It's about Anna Claudia Talencon. She's pursued by this nerdy guy played by Colin Hanks, and we quickly find out that he's like a stalker. He puts in a bunch of equipment to record her on video and on sound, and she has no idea she's being spied on. in various objects throughout her house. And he basically like stalks her on Facebook and looks up her profile and starts to run into her at various places she likes, like a coffee place down the street, and tries to make it spontaneous, and tries to win her heart. And it's a very unnerving movie. And now there's like several other movies like this. This is from 2007. It's kind of similar to the movie Ratter, which I reviewed a few years ago. Um, let's see. This one is called The Sadist, Arch Hall Jr. It's kind of a Twilight Zone-like setting. In the desert, you have a group of people on their way to a baseball game. And they get car trouble in the desert, and they stop at this like junkyard, and they get taken hostage by this creepy man played by Arch Hall Jr. And he's just excellent in his portrayal, and he also has an underage girlfriend. So it's similar to the Fuelgate Weatherman murders. I think that's their last name. They were the basis for the movie Badlands, starring Sissy Spacek. And it was a real crime spree where he basically kidnapped her. She was underage, and he killed her family and set the house on fire and killed a few other people on a crime spree. I think they just did a new documentary on the real case. But this movie is from 1963. It's about 95 minutes long. It's in black and white. I think. I haven't watched it in a really long time. But like I said, the setting of the junkyard is really creepy. They're stuck out in the desert. They're being held hostage. Just very creepy. Let's see. The Lost. Jack Ketchum's The Lost. He, of course, is the author of The Girl Next Door, based on the Sylvia Likens case. This is also loosely based on two killers. I can't remember their names, unfortunately. One of them was called the Pied Piper of Tucson. He had a way of attracting teenage girls to him, and he would stuff his boots full of beer cans to make himself look taller, because I guess he was short in stature. And he would put on like bizarre makeup on his face, like a beauty mark. He would smudge on his cheek, and he killed several people. Most of them, I think, were teenage girls. And it's based on another case where I think his last name was Carr. He killed a few people while they were camping. So it's like a merging of these two true crime stories. It's very, very disturbing. Mark Center plays the guy named Ray, and it also has Shay Astor, Alex Frost, Megan Henning. Dee Wallace Stone has a small role as a grieving mother, Michael Bowen. So it's very disturbing. Jack Ketchum's The Lost, and he had a small cameo as a bartender named Teddy in the movie, and he died a couple of years ago, I believe. But he writes really good, gritty fiction. Sometimes they're inspired by true crimes. Next, I'm going to talk about Agatha Christie's The Mirror Cracked. Angela Lansbury plays Miss Marple in this production. It's got Geraldine Chaplin, Tony Curtis, Edward Fox, Rock Hudson, Kim Novak, Elizabeth Taylor. And it's basically Miss Marple investigating a murder case. Angela Lansbury said, I don't think it was the greatest movie, but it was fun to work on the production. So she really doesn't mince any words in her time on this. I'm generally a fan of Agatha Christie, The Pale Horse, and Then There Were None, the various productions of 10 Little Indians, and I'm just a big fan of her works in movies and series. Next, I'm going to talk about The International. It stars Clive Owen, Naomi Watts, and he basically discovers like hidden crimes behind the scenes, and it's a real gritty crime thriller. And I remember like how tired Naomi Watts looked in it, and I believe she had just had family. She had given birth, so it really added to her performance because she looks tired and frazzled, and it kind of adds to her performance in the movie. Let's see. London to Brighton. It's a British movie, obviously. It's about a young girl who's about 12 years old. She gets mixed up with a local prostitute, and the young girl basically gets trafficked to like a kingpin, and she and this prostitute get thrown together and kidnapped, and the prostitute tries to help her not be trafficked and end up being in that type of life that she's been in for years. It's about 85 minutes. You get really good performances from Lorraine Stanley. Georgia Groom, I believe, is the little girl. And she has, they have amazing chemistry together. She's this little girl who is having issues at home and accidentally gets mixed up in human trafficking. And like I said, she is looked after by this older prostitute living on the street, and she tries to save her from ending up in that underworld. It's a very gritty movie. It's disturbing to watch because this little girl is getting trafficked into this terrible underworld. And basically I was on the edge of my seat. You want to see them get free and try to turn the tables on their captors. It's just a really good, I believe, British production. And British movies usually, the productions are different than American productions. If it's a series, it's usually like 6 episodes, maybe less. They don't go on forever and ever like most American series do. All killer, no filler is what I like to call it. Unlike some American productions where you have like 23, 24 episodes a season, you might get like 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 episodes of a series, and that's it. It doesn't go on. It wraps up the conclusion. Unlike American shows, which I tend to get burned out on because they tend to overstay their welcome, unlike British programs. So that's pretty much it. That's what's in my to watch pile on DVD anyway. I have a running list on my streaming stuff that I watch, like Tubi, Pluto, stuff like that. So it's always like being added to. It's like a mile long, and I tend to forget about my DVDs sometimes because there's so much on streaming. So I'm trying to whittle down my to watch list when I remember. And that's it. This was my little video on my to watch list. And wow, I've been talking for a while. I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I have more reviews ready to go. I have like 6 or 7 reviews already recorded. I just thought I'd do this for fun. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are watching this, I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching. Bye.